Now listen close, 'cause what I'm about to share with you ain't no accident. You might be sitting there feeling worn down, maybe hurt, maybe wondering if anybody way up yonder still remembers your name. Well, I've come through this very moment to tell you this. You've been seen. Before the sun even peeked over the horizon today, before you opened your eyes and set your feet on the floor, your name was spoken in a place higher than all the noise of this world. Spoken with kindness, with urgency, and with a warning. Don't turn away from these words now. Don't let your hands wander or your mind drift, 'cause the voice you're hearing holds something sealed just for you, in this hour, this breath, this shaky space, between all you've lost and all you're about to receive. You are chosen. Now I know that word might feel heavy, even strange, especially when you've been made to feel so small, but I don't say it lightly. There's a reason your spirit's been restless. There's a reason sleep slipped away from your eyes, and peace feels like a stranger. Something's moving in the unseen world, and you felt its tremors even if you couldn't put a name to it. I gotta tell you the truth, even when it stings, 'cause love that hides the truth ain't love at all. Someone's praying against you. Somewhere, maybe in a quiet room or behind a smile, words are being shaped into arrows, aimed right at the heart of your life. You've felt it, haven't you? That sudden heaviness falling on you with no reason. Doors that were wide open slamming shut just as you reach for them. That bone-deep tiredness no rest can fix. Outbursts that come from nowhere. And folks talking about you with something bitter on their tongues. You ain't imagining it. You ain't losing your mind. You've been standing in the path of an invisible fight, and the very reason you're still standing is what I'm here to reveal. Let these words sink into the deepest part of your soul. You've cried where no one could see. You've washed your face before stepping out so the world wouldn't know how close you came to breaking. You've smiled at folks who never asked how you really were, carried burdens that would have crushed weaker hearts. And still you rose. Still, you tried. Still you believed, even when belief felt like a candle flickering in a storm. I saw every tear you shed. None fell unnoticed. Each one gathered, counted, kept safe, 'cause the pain of a chosen one is never wasted, never ignored, never forgotten up above. You thought you were alone in those dark nights. You never were. When you sat on the edge of your bed with your head in your hands, wondering why that heaviness wouldn't lift, there were eyes on you burning with a love you can't yet imagine, and hands reaching out you just couldn't feel yet. You've been made to feel invisible. The world rushed right past you like you were just a shadow, like your presence and absence weighed the same. Folks took what you gave them, and forgot who gave it. They leaned on your strength when they were weak, then vanished the moment your own knees buckled. You poured yourself out for others till there was almost nothing left, and when you finally needed someone to pour back into you, the room was empty, and the silence was deafening. I know that ache of being the one who always understands but is never understood. I know the loneliness of the soul that holds everybody together while quietly falling apart. And I'm here to tell you that season of being overlooked is coming to an end. 'Cause what's hidden from human eyes ain't never been hidden from the eyes of heaven. The one who sees in secret is getting ready to reward you out in the open. There's a weariness in you deeper than your body. It's the weariness of a spirit fighting too long without knowing who its enemy is. You've wondered if there's something wrong with you, if maybe you're cursed, if maybe you just ain't meant for the good things that seem easy for others. Listen here, clear as day, nothing is wrong with you. You ain't cursed by your own nature, you ain't broken beyond fixing. What you've been facing is the resistance that always rises up against those who carry a calling. 'Cause the light you carry, even when you can't see it, threatens the darkness, and darkness don't give up its targets without a fight. The very fact you've been attacked is proof of your worth. Nobody wastes arrows on what don't matter. The fierceness of the fight against you measures the greatness of the destiny waiting for you on the other side. Now hear this warning and let it settle deep in your bones. There's a weight that comes with being called, and that weight is the weight of attention. You can't keep turning your back on what's happening around you. When the battle gets fierce, it's tempting to numb out. Pretend you don't feel the heaviness, bury your head and hope it passes. But a chosen one who refuses to face the fight don't end the fight. They just fight blind. The whispers aimed at you don't stop, 'cause you choose not to hear them. The secret plots don't unravel, 'cause you choose not to believe in them. Ignoring the spiritual realm don't protect you. It's like walking through a battlefield with your eyes shut, hoping the bullets miss. I'm calling you to open your eyes, stand in your awareness and your authority. 'Cause the moment you understand who you're up against, that's the moment the enemy starts losing his grip. There's a cost to spiritual neglect, and I won't sugarcoat it. You're strong enough now to hear it. Every prayer prayed against you that you don't answer with your own prayers gains ground. Every curse spoken over your name that you don't break keeps whispering. Not 'cause darkness is stronger than light, never that, but 'cause you've been given a will and heaven honors your will, waiting for you to rise and claim the protection that's already been won for you. The shield is real, but you gotta lift it. The sword's been forged, but you gotta take it in your hand. You've been sitting back in a war that needs your fight, and that time's done. You weren't made to be a victim of the unseen. You were made to be a victor in it. Now right here in this moment of truth, I gotta pause and hand you something. 'Cause love don't point to a battle without giving you the weapons to win. There's a reason you're hearing all this now, when the pressure's built so high you can't ignore this invisible game no more. You've started to sense you ain't some small forgotten piece, but the key player on a board bigger than you ever dreamed. And you're right. All that pain you've carried, all those prayers prayed against you, all those curses trying to cling to your name, they point to rules that govern the unseen world, rules they kept hidden from you so you'd never learn to fight back. But there's a sacred guide, a digital book called The Seven Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to break curses, seal blessings, and activate the calling of the chosen ones. And it was made just for this battle you're standing in right now. Now listen here, this ain't no fancy feel-good talk that just skirts the edges. This here guide lays it out plain and true, powerful as a Sunday sermon, showing you those hidden things folks never told you. It teaches how them prayers aimed right at you really work, how St. Michael's swords cut them cords that tie you down, how to break that specific curse laid on you by secret enemies, and how to lock down blessings before the enemy can snatch them from your hands. So it's about stepping all the way into the calling that made you a target in the first place, because it also made you chosen. Now if you're ready, the link to this sacred digital book sitting right at the top of the comments, pinned there like a beacon so you don't have to hunt for it. I'll be straight with you. This knowledge has rattled a lot of folks. It shakes up the comfy stories the world's been telling, and there's been plenty trying to hush this truth, 'cause nothing spooks the darkness more than a chosen soul who finally knows the rules of this battle. So go on now. While that fire still burns in your heart, grab hold of it. Download it, and as an act of faith, as a bold declaration that cuts through the unseen, drop a comment saying, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." Say it out loud, claim it like a true believer, and watch how heaven answers a soul that's decided to fight back. And now that you've made that promise, let it fuel you, 'cause the revelation's just getting started. What's coming next will show you why your enemies were so desperate to keep you asleep. Those prayers prayed against you weren't random shots in the dark. They were aimed 'cause something in your future scares the darkness to its core, and I'm fixing to show you what that future holds. Right now, something's moving in the invisible world, even as you hear these words. Don't let the quiet of your room fool you. Beyond the veil that separates what you see from what's really there, a mighty shift is underway. The case for your restoration's been opened in the highest court, and the one who judges with perfect justice is laying down a verdict in your favor. Picture it not as some far-off idea, but as a living, breathing reality happening this very second. There are forces squatting in your life, taking ground they were never meant to hold, and the order's been given to evict them. Them chains wrapped around your money, your relationships, your health, your peace, your purpose, they're being examined, link by link, and a blade's been raised to cut every single one. You're about to feel a lightness you ain't known in years. One morning, closer than you think, you'll wake up and that weight pressing down on your chest will be gone, lifted while you slept, carried off by hands you never saw. Folks will ask what's changed, and you won't have the words, 'cause this change happened where their eyes can't reach. But you'll know. You'll feel it in the way air fills your lungs, in how your thoughts don't spiral into fear no more, and in how hope comes flooding back like the tide rushing in after a long pull out to sea. This ain't just wishful thinking. This is heaven moving for the one it's chosen, and it's already begun. But before you move forward, I gotta speak on something that's hurt you deep down, a wound that needs healing. You've wondered why it took so long, why your deliverance was delayed while others seemed to get theirs quick. You've asked if it was punishment, if you done something wrong, or if you were just passed by while blessings flowed to folks more worthy. I'm here to rip that lie right out of your heart. The delay was never punishment. It was preparation. It was protection. There were things waiting on you in the future you weren't strong enough to hold yet, and if they'd come too soon, they'd have crushed you instead of blessing you. That waiting wasn't absence of love. It was love's deepest expression. Think on how a soul is shaped for greatness. A blade ain't made in a minute. It's forged in fire, heated till it glows, then struck again and again on the anvil. Folded, beaten, heated, struck once more, till every weakness is hammered out and every impurity burned away. To that blade, every blow feels like the end. Every trip back to the fire seems cruel. But the smith holding the hammer ain't angry. He's loving that blade into its purpose, 'cause a sword that ain't tempered will shatter in the first real battle. The smith won't send his finest weapon to war unready. You've been in that fire, felt the hammer's blow, and you mistook the forging for abandonment when all along you were being made into something unbreakable. Every blow you survived added strength you'll need for what's coming. Every season in that flame burned away what would have weakened you at your victory's hour. There were lessons only the dark could teach, a depth of compassion carved by suffering, wisdom poured in only when pride's emptied out, faith proven real in the fire of the impossible. The person you were before the weight couldn't have carried what's now being prepared. You had to become this version, the one who's wept and risen, knocked down and stood again, forgotten but faithful, 'cause only this you is strong enough to hold the fullness heaven's stored up. The delay built the container. Now it's ready to be filled, and everything held back through the long night is about to flood in and astonish you. See, the enemy knew something about you didn't yet see. He knew if your gifts came before your character was forged, you'd stumble, fall, maybe never rise again. So he whispered that the delay meant rejection, hoping you'd quit right near the finish line. He prayed against you, stirred others to do the same, 'cause he could see the appointed time coming. His only shot was to get you to give up before the verdict dropped. But you didn't quit. Bruised and tired as you are, you're still here, still listening, still reaching for the light. That refusal to give up has sealed your victory more than you realize. Now let me take you into the unseen, 'cause you deserve to witness the war waged for your sake. Close your eyes for a moment and open your spirit's eyes. See what's been happening just beyond your senses. There stands a warrior whose name's thundered through heaven since the world began, the great prince and defender, commander of the heavenly hosts, Saint Michael the Archangel. Don't picture him soft or distant. See him as a towering presence wrapped in light that don't blind but warms, his face set with fierce, holy resolve, armor shining bright as if forged in the Almighty's throne room, and in his hand a sword burning with white fire. A blade no curse, no scheme, no whispered prayer of hate can stand against. When those words were whispered against you in the quiet corners, they didn't just go unchecked. The moment they slipped into the unseen, a heavenly alarm rang out, and the defender of the chosen rose up to meet him. I've seen him stand firm between you and the arrows, aim straight for your heart, lifting his shield so what was meant to pierce you bounced off the unbreakable wall of heaven's protection instead. The curses sent to chain you up got cut down in mid-air. The schemes designed to wreck you were torn apart before they could even take root. You walked your days thinking you were defenseless, but all the while a warrior of unimaginable power was carving out a safe path round you, cutting every dark cord, trying to wrap around your destiny. See the battle for what it truly was. The forces of darkness gathered, fueled by the prayers of those who wished you harm, pushing forward like a tide of shadow. But right at the edge stood the heavenly host, lined up in ranks of fire. Banners of light unfurled against the dark, and leading them all was the great archangel, his flaming blade held high. A decree came down from the throne, a command from heaven itself, sealed with a power no force in any realm can undo, declaring you, the chosen one, under divine protection, claimed and covered, never to be handed over to the enemy. When that decree rang out, heaven's swords fell, every curse's cords were cut, the shadow recoiled, and the ground stolen from your life started to be reclaimed, inch by inch. There's 7 swords, each one cut in a different chain, and each one drawn just for you. One blade slices through the curse of the tongue, the words spoken against you, the gossip, the slander, the prayers of malice, cutting them from your name so they fall powerless to the ground. Another breaks the chains of generational burdens, the weight passed down through bloodlines. them patterns of loss and lack that seem to follow your kin like a shadow, finally severed, so the suffering stops with you and the blessing begins. Another shatters the prison of fear, that invisible cage that kept you small, that voice telling you to expect less and hope even less, knocked down so courage can rise up in you like a flame. And those swords just keep falling, cutting through confusion, delay, isolation, every scheme meant to keep a chosen one from stepping into their power. I want you to feel the weight of that truth. You were never fighting alone, not even in those nights when you felt utterly forsaken. While you slept, worn out, the war kept on without you, fought by hands stronger than any you've ever known, on your behalf, for your sake, 'cause you matter to heaven more than you ever dared believe. The defender never got tired. He never left his post. Night after night, attack after attack, he held the line, and he's holding it still, won't lower his sword, until every last enemy of your destiny is trampled in the dust. This is the love that wraps around you. This is the shield that's over you. This is the truth the darkness desperately tried to hide, 'cause a chosen one who knows they're defended becomes downright fearless, and a fearless chosen one is the darkness's worst nightmare. So I gotta lay this in your hands again, 'cause the battle I just showed you ain't just for watching. You're meant to take your place right in it. Those 7 swords I told you about, they ain't just stories locked up in some far-off heaven. They're knowledge, they're weapons, and they can be learned and wielded by anyone willing to receive them. That's the heart of the sacred digital book, the 7 swords of Saint Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to break curses, seal blessings, and activate the calling of the chosen ones. Inside each sword is revealed in detail, so you not only know you're protected, but you learn how to stand alongside your defender, how to speak the decrees that seal your protection, how to cut with your own hands the cords of malice aimed at you by those who pray against you in secret. This guide names what most folks don't dare to speak out loud. Step by step, it shows you how the enemy's prayer breaks, how the blessing that was stolen gets recovered and sealed so it can't be taken again, and how the call on your life gets activated so you stop just surviving the attacks and start walking in the authority, meant for you from the start. The link's pinned right at the top of the comments, the very first one, set aside for souls ready to stop being targets and start being warriors. Know this knowledge made the darkness shake, pushing hard against the comfortable lies the world keeps telling, and there've been plenty trying to bury it, keep it from reaching the chosen, 'cause the one thing the enemy can't stand is a chosen one fully awake to their power. Don't let this moment slip by. Reach out now while the vision of the heavenly host still burns bright in your mind, and download the sacred guide. And as your act of faith, as a decree the unseen world will hear, say these words loud and clear. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. Claim your weapons, speak it bold, and feel the shift that comes when a soul finally steps into the war on the side of victory. Now let that vow burn like fire in your chest, 'cause what I'm about to share is why all this was worth it. Protection ain't the destination. It was the clearing of the ground so the harvest could come. And the harvest, dear chosen one, is bigger than anything you've dared to dream. Hear me now, this is the promise of restoration, and it ain't small. Everything taken from you is coming back. Not just the same, but multiplied. The years the locusts ate up. They're gonna be paid back. Not taken from your future, but added to it. With interest that don't make no sense to the world. That's heaven's justice. It don't just restore what was stolen, it punishes the thief by overflowing the victim with abundance, so the very thing meant to break you becomes the reason you rise higher than ever. Think on what's been stripped from you in these long, hard years. The chances that slipped away, the friendships that withered, the dreams you folded up and tucked away 'cause you didn't believe you'd live to see 'em come true, the joy drained right out of your days till you barely remembered what lightness felt like. Every one of those losses was noted, held in heaven's ledger, not as a debt you owe, but a debt owed to you. And now the time to pay up has come. Doors that were shut are gonna swing wide open, and not just those same doors, but bigger ones. Ones you never even knew were there, leading to opportunities far beyond what you lost. The provision that was choked off will flow again, and it won't be just a trickle, but a river reaching into the dry places in your life and turning them green. Now, in the part of your life that's all about relationships, that lonesome feeling that's been sitting heavy on your heart is fixing to be broken. The right folks are being drawn to you even as we speak. Folks who'll see your true worth without you having to ask twice. Folks who'll pour into your soul just like you've done for others. Folks who'll recognize the blessing in you before you say a single word. The ties that have worn you down are being cut loose, and the ones that'll nourish your spirit are being woven tight into your path. You won't be the one always giving and never taking no more. The scales are settling right, and you'll feel the joy of being held, being truly seen and being loved with that same fierce heart you've always given out. When it comes to providing for yourself, the struggle of wanting and worrying about if there's going to be enough is getting uprooted. All those late-night reckonings, the shame of not having what you need, they're being lifted off your back and carried away. Blessings are coming your way through paths you ain't even dreamed of yet, some plain as day, some so unexpected you'll chuckle in surprise when they show up. You're moving from just getting by to thriving, from scarcity to plenty, from fear of not having enough to the sweet joy of having so much you can bless others. That's the heart of your restoration, friend, to turn your own pain into a wellspring that can lift up those still caught in the struggle. Now, as for your body and your peace, healing's pouring out like a gentle rain. The heaviness you've been carrying in your shoulders, the weariness deep in your bones, the restless nights that stole your rest, all of that's being soothed by a handful of mercy. Your nights are going to grow quiet again, your sleep going to run deep again. The dread that gripped your mornings, it's going to be replaced by a calm hope, a sweet expecting of good things, a quiet confidence that today might just be the day the breakthrough you've been waiting for finally breaks through. And deep down, right where your spirit meets the eternal, a wholeness you thought lost forever is being restored, a feeling of being right with heaven, held by heaven, loved by heaven, a love no trouble or trial can shake. And then there's your purpose. What's been laying quiet inside you is stirring awake, ready to shine bright. There's a reason you were singled out, and that reason is mighty. It's the weight of what you were born to do. Those gifts buried under years of discouragement, they're going to be dug up, dusted off, and set on fire with passion. You'll see that the hardships you faced weren't the opposite of your purpose, but the very thing that prepared you for it. Every tear taught you kindness. Every loss gave you wisdom. Every fight made you strong, and now all of that is going to pour into a work that outlasts you, a legacy that touches lives you'll never meet, a light that shines long after the darkness that tried to snuff it out is forgotten. So I want you to lift your faith right now, because the time's come to truly believe in what's happening all around you, and deep within. I know faith's been a hard road for you. You've hoped before, and been let down, prayed, and heard nothing but silence, believed and watched your faith crumble under yet another blow, and I know a part of you's scared to hope again, worried that if you do, and it don't come through, the fall will be more than you can stand. I understand that fear, and I don't judge it, but I'm here asking you to hope just one more time, and this time it's different. The verdict's been handed down, the swords are drawn, the protection's in place, and the restoration's already moving. Feel that stirring inside your chest right now, that lump in your throat, those tears wiping at the corners of your eyes. That ain't no accident, and it ain't just emotion. That's your spirit recognizing truth. That's the deepest part of you testifying that these words ain't empty, that something real's happening, that this voice you're hearing is reaching you for a reason. Don't brush off that inner confirmation. Don't let the world's cynicism talk you out of the knowing that's rising in your bones. Your spirit knows what your mind's been too bruised to accept, that you are loved, that you are chosen, that you are protected, and that your season has turned. There's a peace waiting on you right now that don't depend on your circumstances changing first. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing the end is secure even while the fight's still on. The peace of the soldier who's read the last page and knows who wins. The peace of a child who can sleep through the storm because their daddy's awake at the helm. That peace is being offered to you this very moment. You don't have to wait round till everything's fixed to take hold of it. You can lay down your worry now. You can let go of trying to control what you were never meant to control. Let your shoulders relax, your breath deepen, your heart quiet down, because the one who holds your future don't sleep and don't fail, and he's already gone ahead of you into every tomorrow you fear. I want you to take a deep breath right now, slow and steady. As you breathe in, draw in the truth that you're safe, you're held, and you ain't walking this path alone. And as you breathe out, let go of one burden you've been carrying that was never yours to bear. Let go of the guilt telling you the delay's your fault. Let go of the shame whispering your struggle means you ain't worthy. Let go of the fear that the next blow's always coming. Flow it out and watch it leave, because the hands shaping your life now are hands of restoration, and there ain't no room in 'em for those old burdens you clutched so tight for so long. That confirmation grows even stronger, because faith ain't just one moment. It's a foundation, and everything else is built on it. When you truly believe you're protected, you stop jumping at every shadow. When you truly believe restoration's coming, you stop grasping in desperation and start moving with hope. When you truly believe you're chosen, you carry yourself different, speak different, make choices from a place of identity, not insecurity. That change inside, that shift from feeling like an orphan to knowing you're chosen, that's part of the restoration too, maybe the most important part, because it don't just change what you get, it changes who you become in the giving. So I say to you, believe. Not with that fragile hope that's always bracing for disappointment, but with a steady confidence like someone who's seen the final word and knows it ain't gonna change. Let that confidence be the ground you stand on when doubt comes knocking, because it surely will. The enemy don't give up his lies without one last fight. When doubt rises, come back to this moment. Come back to that knowing in your chest. Come back to the vision of your defender standing strong with that fiery sword. And remember, the one fighting for you has never lost a battle, and he ain't starting with yours. Before we close this out, I've got one last thing to hand you. Something sacred, something powerful. I've shared this with you twice already, because some truths need to be said again and again till they stick, because the darkness just waits on you to hesitate and miss your moment. That faith stirring in your heart right now? It's precious, no doubt. But faith, well, it's got to be armed. That's what this digital guide is for. The 7 swords of St. Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to break curses, seal blessings and activate the calling of the chosen ones. It's there to equip your faith. Everything I've talked to you about, the protection around you, the curses being broken, the blessings sealed, your calling coming alive, it's all laid out in that guide. It's a path you can walk with your own 2 feet, words you can speak with your own mouth, swords you can hold in your own hands. It takes what you're feeling right now and turns it into a daily practice, so this breakthrough ain't just a one-time thing. It's a way of life. This guide don't shy away from the hard truth at the heart of this message, the real wound that says someone's praying against you. It shows you exactly how St. Michael's sword cuts through those prayers, turning curses right back into blessings on your own head. It teaches you how to seal up what heaven restores so no thief can come back and steal it again, and how to step into the authority of the chosen so you stop being hunted and start reigning. The link's pinned up top in the comments, plain as day, for those whose hearts are ready. Know this truth's been fought against, unsettling those who profit off keeping the chosen asleep. More than once folks have tried to hush it, and that right there is the clearest sign of how mighty it truly is. Don't let hesitation steal away what this moment's offering. Reach out for that sacred guide now while your faith's burning bright, and download it. And as a spoken vow to seal your intent, say these words with all your heart. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. Take up your swords, and let heaven bear witness to a soul that's decided to rise. Now, with that vow burning inside and your weapons in hand, let's come back to the most powerful truth of all, the blessing that's been waiting on you from the very start. The words of fire about to be spoken over your life and your name. Everything I've told you, the protection, the forging, the restoration, the awakening of your calling, it all comes together now in these decrees, sealing what heaven started and launching you into a destiny no enemy can hold back. Steady your heart and open it wide, because what's next ain't just to be heard, it's to be received, sealed deep inside, becoming the very foundation your life's built upon. But before those decrees fall like rain on thirsty ground, I gotta go a little deeper into that wound. There's a layer of pain you ain't allowed yourself to feel yet, and it needs light before it can heal. You've lived with that ache so long, you don't even see it as a wound no more. You call it your personality or being realistic. You've lowered your expectations so slow and so soft, you didn't notice when you stopped expecting good things altogether. There was a child inside you once, dreaming wild without asking permission, believing the world was big and full of wonder, knowing deep down that something magnificent was meant for them. But somewhere along the way, under the weight of letdowns, that child went quiet. You stopped speaking your dreams out loud because watching them die hurt too bad. You learned to want less so you'd lose less. And the saddest part? You started thinking that quiet surrender was maturity, when in truth it was just the enemy's sneakiest, quietest win. I'm here to call that child back to life. To give you permission to want again, dream again, expect again. Because the muzzle that's been placed on your hope, it ain't from heaven. It's from the very forces scared of what you'd become if you dared to believe. Now let me tell you about a man who knew this kind of waiting, this kind of forgetting, this feeling overlooked right in the house where he served. There was a young man named Joseph, loved by his daddy, but hated by his brothers, carrying a dream so big it nearly burst out of him. He saw in his sleep that he'd rise up, that even those taller than him would one day bow down. But when he spoke that dream, folks didn't cheer. It got punished. His own brothers, jealous and full of hate, stripped him of the coat that showed he was daddy's favorite, threw him in a pit, then sold him off like a piece of trash for a few silver coins. Think on what he must have felt in that pit, betrayed by his own kin, cursed by prayers from folks who should have been protecting him. He was hauled off to a strange land, stripped of his name, his family, everything but that dream that surely must have felt like a cruel joke by then. But it didn't end there. When he chose to keep his integrity over cutting a corner, he got lied about, falsely accused, thrown in a prison cell to rot, forgotten by all he ever helped, kindness paid back with abandon. Years passed in that dark place, years filled with wondering if heaven had forgotten that dream planted deep inside. To anyone watching, it looked like defeat plain as day. But heaven hadn't forgotten. That pit and prison weren't the end of his story, they were the making of it. Every betrayal taught him a wisdom he couldn't learn nowhere else. Every wrong carved out a character strong enough to hold the power that was coming. And when the right moment came in just one day,